sure you're good on your end.
Yeah, but it's
All right. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. I want to thank Flavia and Ingel and Volkers for hosting the space for us. And then, I just want to thank all you guys for being here. It's my buddy Mike. He's going to teach us some cool stuff today. So we'll let him take over and we'll get this.
Well, thank you for Jared for setting up the room and letting me tag everybody on Facebook and thank you all for showing up. So we're going to talk today about, I'm Mike Duffy. My wife is here with me. We've been YouTubers for a couple of years and we thought, hey, why don't we teach other people how to become visible on YouTube and really refocus their energy from randomly posting on a ton of different social medias and focusing their time and energy on live streaming once a week and then making sure that live stream shows up on all your social media networks. So you're building a bunch of different audiences and repurposing that long form content into shorts. So today we're going to talk about why great businesses stay invisible. It's because nobody knows about your business. So let me start with a question. How many of you know a business that's absolutely incredible? They have a great product, their customers love them, and they generally care about what they do, but no one knows that they exist. I'm sure you've got friends out there that nobody knows they exist and because they're not making any content. I know we're in the great state of Texas right now. My actual business is based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. However, I've got clients in Texas, I've got clients in Florida, I've got clients in New Jersey, I've got clients all over the place because I make content online. So it's super important now, especially if you don't. I know some people have a brick and mortar business, but not everybody has a brick and mortar business. So how do people find out about you when you don't have that brick and mortar business? So here's something we've learned after working with hundreds of business owners. Again, my primary business is not YouTube. My primary business is cybersecurity and 24/7 tech support. So I started in business in 2005 and we're in 2026. So 21 years of me promoting myself online. And it's not always been easy. It's been a little bit of a challenge, but we take those challenges and we figure out what to do and how to move forward and attract more business, right? So most businesses don't fail because they're bad. They fail because they're invisible. Think about it. If people don't know you exist, they can't call you. They can't recommend you. They can't trust you, and they definitely can't buy from you. Most entrepreneurs think they have a marketing problem or an advertising problem, or maybe they think they need a new website, or they spend a ton of money on a website expecting that new website to bring in thousands of dollars of leads, and guess what? You hear nothing because nobody knows you exist and nobody knows that new website exists. So the issue is, it's always a visibility problem. When somebody goes to search you online, do you show up? Because it's not just Google anymore. There's a bunch of different search engines. There's a bunch of AI out there now too. And if all those places don't know you exist, like you can do all the work and get listed in individual places, but there's such an easier way to do it these days. So here's the interesting part. Most businesses don't usually win. The business people remembers wins. Think about your own life. When you need a plumber, a lawyer, a realtor, or a restaurant, you don't usually spend hours researching every option. You think of the one you've seen, you think the one you've heard from, and you think about the one that's showing up consistently. That's why visibility matters. Visibility builds familiarity, builds trust, and trust creates customers. This presentation isn't about YouTube. I know our business is called IamYouTubeFamous.com. I just told you I've been doing 24/7 tech support over the phone with people for 21 years. It's about becoming the business people think of first. How did I meet Jared? I showed up I was actually invited to Texas by my other customer who's like, everybody in Bryan College Station needs to know about YouTube. I'm like, well, YouTube's not even my main business. It's tech support. But oh wait, you got to show up in new places and meet new people for them to know exactly what you do and to be able to trust you, right? So this isn't about YouTube. It's about visibility. It's about becoming the business people think of first, because once that happens, marketing gets easier, referrals increase. You do a good job, you're going to have those referrals, right? And sales conversations become much simpler. So I know this looks a little janky, but we're going to go to the second slide here. And I put this up on my website, so I'll everybody who registered, I'll send you the link in case there's a QR code at the end. And now that I'm going to scroll, it does not want to scroll properly. So it was working before. It's technology. Because my hand's all sweaty. That's why. Or is this website?
Want me to try?
Yeah, you can try. It was when I did a test run of it this morning. It scrolled smoothly, so I don't know if it's good as on the projector, but whatever. So what does invisibility actually cost? Most people immediately think, well, maybe I missed a sale, but it's much bigger than that. Every single day, you're not visible. Somebody else is becoming the expert.
You want here?
I think this is the third one.
Yeah,
So it's like this one right here. My wife's giving me a dirty look. It should have
to make sure this was gonna work.
It worked when I tested it out before.
Yeah, you won't stay.
I guess I could have loaded them. I could have loaded them individually into Restream. So
It's the mistakes that make it authentic.
exactly. Okay, so every single day you're not visible. Somebody else is becoming the expert. Maybe they're not better than you. Maybe they don't have more experience. Maybe they don't have a better product. They simply see the person who keeps showing up. Someone else is earning trust. Trust doesn't happen overnight. It happens because people see you consistently. Every post, every video, every interview, every customer story, every time someone comes across your business, your credibility grows. Someone else is getting introduced. Think about referrals. People don't usually recommend the business they've never heard of. They recommend the business they've seen recently, the one that's top of mind, the person who's streaming every single week. Someone else is getting referred. Referrals don't start when somebody needs your service. They start weeks or months before that, when people begin recognizing your name. And eventually, someone else gets the customer, not because they were better, because they were easier to remember. So here's the part that surprised us. Most businesses don't lose customers to better competitors. They lose customers to more visible competitors. That's a very different problem, because visibility is something you can't actually build. So think about this. If somebody in this room needed exactly what you offer, would they think of you first? I know I'm in tech support, so when people are looking for tech support, they're literally just going on Google. They're just searching for tech support and seeing who shows up nearby. Same with YouTube. Like, I'm not the only YouTube coach out there. I have a spreadsheet of all the YouTube coaches I find on YouTube, and there's just a list, and there's more and more and more, and a ton of them are running paid ads. And I'm like, I'm always checking in to see what my competitors are doing, because I know there's a ton of competition out there. Like, are you the only laser engraver, Jared? Anyone are you the only baker in town? No. Construction, are you the only person making furniture? Are you the only one doing furniture?
Making custom?
Yeah.
Yes.
In Texas?
Oh, no.
No, exactly. There's always going to be competition out there. So the only way you're going to be remembered is if you're actually making content and you're visible, showing up at networking events in person, and then handing out that card. What do people do? They take the cards, they take the giveaways, they go look you up. They're like, oh, hey, I met this person. I'm going to go look them up. And then, oh, hey, they're making YouTube content. Oh, wow, they're on Facebook. They're like everywhere, right? And it just starts building that know, like, and trust. So again, I asked you, if someone in this room needed exactly what you offer, would they think of you first? Or would they think of someone who's simply been showing up more consistently? That's a hidden cost of invisibility. It's not just the sale you lost today, it's every conversation, every referral, every opportunity. That never happened because people never thought of you in the first place. I even get this in my own business because, as I said, I've been doing tech support for 21 years. So when people call, if they, they'll call the book, and most customers, when they call and they book an appointment and you've confirmed that appointment with them, they'll wait. So if it's like, we do a lot of remote support, so it might be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. They may have booked something in a month. But I even had people recently where somebody's called in and said, and booked something on the phone, and then you're like, okay, I got to call them in an hour. You call them in an hour, and they've already chosen somebody else. So I'm like, wait a minute, I've been dealing with you for 20 years. You called us, you booked the appointment. I called you back when I was supposed to, and you've already found somebody else quicker because they showed up at your door. So if you think there's customer loyalty out there, I've experienced it recently. There really isn't. Whoever is able to deliver that service quicker, faster, cheaper is going to get the customer, right? So just something to think about with that. So visibility creates trust. The next question is, how does trust actually get built? Jared, you're a brand new business. So because you just started in January, is that right? February. Okay. So how have you, when you got started, how are you finding customers?
Yeah, so for me, it's been getting out in front of people, meeting, networking, just meeting other business owners. Most of my clients are business owners. So just getting in front of people has been the best for me. Making sure that people know my face, they see my brand. I try to sponsor as many things as I can and get my brand and my face out there as much as possible.
And then once they've, and you started with the laser engraving then? Is that the first thing you started with?
Yep.
So how's that turned into repeat business? So somebody buys one, like a business card from you, or an etched tumbler, or a hat, have they come back for more? Absolutely. Okay, so and then you started with YouTube in like April with us? Okay. So how many of since you're brand new, how many of your customers have said, hey, I've seen what you've been doing. I know somebody walked into the room tonight and like, hey, I see you everywhere, right? So they've been watching what you've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's actually really cool because sometimes you wonder when you're making like posts online and stuff, like, are these actually reaching people that I've never met before, or are people seeing this and like, because sometimes people don't even like comment or like.
This is the visibility gap, right? Yeah. They see you, they recognize you, they may acknowledge you when you see them in person again, but are they liking, comment, or sharing?
And another thing that was really cool is I ran into someone networking. I think it was at a golf tournament, and she saw me and she was like, "You look very familiar." And then I was like, how, And then she's like, "Oh, I saw you on like Facebook or Instagram."
Because now you're YouTube famous.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really cool because like I've always thought of that concept of like people that are YouTube famous, what it's like when someone comes up to you and you've never met them in person before, and they saw me like from social media, and like I didn't think, especially in this like just in our town, that would like happen in our town because it's very small. You know a lot of people around here, but it was really cool to like actually experience that. Like someone's like, "Hey, I saw you."
I know because I've been in like the lobby of when I was in Washington D.C. last September. That's actually how I ended up picking up one of our other YouTube clients. I was at the Ritz-Carlton. I was at an event in like Virginia, Tyson's Corner, Virginia. It's pretty much Washington, D.C. And I'm sitting in the lobby waiting for an after hours presentation. And there's a lady, she's like, "I see you online all the time." And I'm like, "I hope that's good." Right? And she's like, "No, it's great." And I'm like, "That's perfect." She's like, "Yeah, you teach YouTube on Saturdays." She's like, "I know you from this and this and this and this and this." And I'm like, "But, not knowing you're in the same room at the same time with people." And then I was like, "God, I hope you follow us. I hope you, tune in on Saturdays for YouTube University." And she's like, "Oh, well, I'm in AI." I'm like, "Well, that's okay. You could make a YouTube channel on AI or whatever your interest is, right? Because all of us are working for ourselves or working for somebody else, and everybody needs help with visibility, especially getting your content on YouTube. And what we're using right now is Restream. So right now we're broadcasting to like 4 or 5 different social medias, right? So even if this isn't perfect, people are going to watch it, and then I can repackage this later and do highlight reel. So perfect answer though. I'm happy because I know you're new and really you need to get out there, and this is why you've built visibility for yourself, right?
Absolutely. And it's only been April, maybe like 2 months, and it's happened that amount of time. So
that's perfect. Okay, so trust, in Jared's example, trust comes from repeated exposure. So think of your own life. If you see the same restaurant every day on your drive to work, after a while you don't think, I've never heard of that place. Instead you think, I've seen that place, I need to try it, right? That's the one small shift that changes everything. Repeated exposure gets people to know, like, and trust you and choose you over your competition. So the same thing happens in business. People don't buy the first time they see you. They buy after they've seen you enough times to feel like they already know you, right? They're like, oh, I've seen you. Well, obviously they've seen you enough on streaming that they're like, hey, laser engraving looks cool. I need to, get something from you. And then, of course, you've got a variety of different things that you laser engrave that you have something for everybody, right? I know our mutual friend just got married and you did laser engraved watches for Dr. Levi. So it's not just like one thing you offer. You can apply that laser engraving, your specialty laser engraving, you can apply that across the I'm wearing one of your products today. So
actually, most of the time, people wear all
I thought it was cool. I'm like, he's like, where do you want me to ship it to? I'm like, I think I'm going to end up in Texas because there's a lot of cool people in Texas. I'm going to end up here again, right? So I'll just come and pick it up. So I'm happy to meet you all because that's how we grow our business, right? Meet people, know, like, and trust them, and keep on going with that cycle. So that's why we think about visibility like this. People see you, and then they remember you, and then they begin to trust you. Eventually, they consider you, and finally, when the timing is right, they choose you. I'm in tech support. It is not a realtor. How long does it take for somebody when they meet you to do business with you? It's probably when they're ready to buy or sell.
Yeah.
Right? Is that once in a lifetime? Is that maybe, if you're lucky, a couple times in their lifetime? I typically find with tech support, it's probably, if it's not an instantaneous sale, it could be, oh, I met you 7 years ago and somebody didn't do a good job for me, so now I'm ready to trust you. It's like it's a multiple year, in my industry, it's a multiple year sales cycle. With the content creation, it's likely a little bit quicker, but again, we've been doing this for a couple of years. I've been doing the tech support for 21 years. I know the exact sales cycle in technology. It's a long term, right? In Jared's case, it's laser engraving, so it's promotional items or branding or whatever. So the more different things you figure out how to laser. But hey, you got an embroiderer now too, and you do t-shirts, right? So you've got a bunch of different. Your sales cycle is going to be a lot quicker than some of us other professionals. Baking, it's edible stuff, so that's, people are hungry today, and if they're hungry, they're going to buy today. So notice something important. Let's see. People see. So when we think about visibility like this, people see you, then they remember you, then they begin to trust you. Eventually, they consider you. In my case, they consider me. And when the timing is right or somebody else has messed up, then they call me to say, hey, I need computer support. Notice something important. Those 5 steps didn't happen in one day. They happen because you can consistently show up. Not perfectly, consistently. And that is why the businesses that win aren't always the smartest or the biggest or the cheapest. They're simply the businesses that you have become familiar with, because familiarity creates comfort, comfort creates trust, and trust creates customers. So when people ask us, how often should I post? Or how often should I create content? They're asking the wrong question. The better question is, how often do I need to show up so my audience doesn't forget me? Because I find that with a ton of my clients. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't have Google My Business. You're not sending out email newsletters. You're not posting. I'm like, how do you guys? I've got one customer. multi-million-dollar business to people. And it's like run off a Rolodex. You don't really find those businesses anymore, but they built their business, they built their customer list pre-internet. So they're always on the older end of their lifespan, and they've been doing it forever, and they've got enough deep connections and they've built this massive business. Most of us don't, that's not the world anymore. So do your customers know you exist? That's the difference between marketing and building trust. You're not creating content just to get views, you're creating familiarity, and familiarity compounds over time. So if repeated visibility builds trust, the next question is, how do you actually create a system that makes this happen consistently without feeling overwhelmed? So that's what I find when I'm talking to podcasters, authors, anybody with a YouTube channel. There's a lot of people out there who've tried YouTube a couple times and they're like, Mike, I failed. I got burned out because I was doing it, but I didn't have a coach to guide me through it. So it's not getting posted, or they're not listing their videos, or they just don't have the confidence to say, hey, I'm happy with my titles, my descriptions, my videos. I need somebody to help me feel confident in what I'm putting out there, right? Because if you don't have any feedback, you're just like, am I doing this right? Like, why am I not getting the read? You're not always going to get comments. You're not always going to get likes. You're not always going to get shares. There's people watching you. When you post those videos, when you live stream, there's going to be people watching, but just because the algorithm doesn't say you had views within 24 to 48 to 72 hours, sometimes people aren't going to see your content for years. And that's why we love you. It's not about YouTube, but this is why we love YouTube so much, is that like every time you put a video out there, it's like a lottery ticket. Right? Because you're just like, I'm making content, I'm documenting my business, I'm documenting my services, I'm documenting my word of mouth referrals, or the projects that have come in and how I've actually supplied them to. You're just like documenting everything because somebody's going to want to watch that stuff. You may just not have built the audience yet because not enough people know about you because you're not visible enough. So if repeated visibility builds trust, the next question is, how do we create that system that makes it happen consistently without feeling overwhelmed? So this is exactly why we built the visibility engine. I've been perfecting it for years. Jared's gone through my training. He's taught me a lot of stuff. I'm super happy with the shorts he's created because it's like, wow, why didn't I think of that? Right? Your short little loop shorts are amazing, but it's really from getting confident and comfortable with filming all the time and saying, hey, we could portray this process this way or this process this way. Like, you can do amazing stuff with a phone, but you can do amazing stuff with just a webcam and a laptop. So here's where most business owners get stuck. They hear everything we just talked about and they think, this sounds great, but I don't have time. And honestly, they're right. The answer isn't creating more content. The answer isn't posting 3 times a day. The answer isn't chasing every platform. That's completely exhausting. That's where your burnout's coming. The goal isn't to create random pieces of marketing. The goal is to build a system where one piece of content creates value in multiple places. So for example, you answer one customer's question, that becomes a video. That video becomes short clips. Those clips become social posts. The transcript becomes a blog. The blog improves Google search. Your email newsletter shares all of it. And now just one idea is working for you in 6 different places. That's what we call the visibility engine. I'm just going to see if I can get it up or not. And of course, right now, it's working just fine. But you don't have good lighting in here, so whatever. But I love the images my wife created, so we're going to make sure this is a video that I'll take Jared in. So this is not about working harder. It's about making everything work together. And when everything starts working together, trust grows faster. As I said, I'm live streaming this at 5 different places, and then I can just chop this up and redistribute it. It's super easy, no extra time required. So when everything starts working together and you start showing up in multiple places, trust grows faster, people find you more often, referrals increase, leads become more consistent, and that's when visibility stops feeling like work and starts becoming an asset. Like, I know my LinkedIn nobody, if I post on LinkedIn, nobody responds. If I live stream this to LinkedIn, I'm going to get a notice like 100, 150, 200 people saw it. And then that's when the DMs start coming in. People are like, hey, can we talk about YouTube? Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? And it's like, oh, it's because you saw, because they don't understand that you can just live stream everywhere with the same content. And it doesn't even need to be a live stream. You can take old stuff that you've made and just reschedule it like a replay. So you can record one thing and literally just schedule it out, right? So you could be sleeping and your video is out there and your call to action is, hey, scan my code, go to my website, order some laser engraving. So you making content and learning how to schedule it out with our visibility engine can be making you money while you sleep. I know when people call my call center, they call, it's not me answering, it's my AI. My AI books people into my calendar, so that will take their credit card and book them into my calendar, right? So my whole system makes me money while I sleep. So now that we've shown you what the visibility engine is, well, there's an image and everything connects, but lighting in here is terrible, but that's okay. Let's show you what it looks like in practice. Okay. We want to show you what it looks like in practice. Most businesses already have visibility. They have a sign, they have a storefront, they've got business cards. Maybe they even have a great location, and that's valuable. But here's the limitation. Your storefront only works for the people who happen to drive by. Digital visibility changes everything. Now your business can be discovered at 10 o'clock at night, on Sunday, or by someone 2 towns away, or 2 states away, or across the country, because you're making video content that's being shared. And people learn about you and they become interested. And as long as your website works the way it should be, they should be able to book, right? Or order. Because yeah, I'm assuming on your website they can order. Yeah. If you go to my website for my cybersecurity business, it's a chat box. It will give you all the free help you want. And if you still can't figure out your technology problem, it books you in my calendar, takes credit card payment, and it books calls for me. Doesn't matter if I'm in clients in Canada, USA, we got a Dubai office. It doesn't matter where people are. If they find me, they find my website, they can book me. From making one piece of content per week, but we live stream 4 times a week. So we just figured out to quadruple our efforts to make ourselves 4 times busier. But also show you that your content doesn't always have to be about a particular bit. Like we've developed 4 different shows, which were all kind of technology related, but we wanted to lead by example and give our students ideas on how they could, multiple different ideas of how they could make their, do their live streams and, have fun with it. So think about your own buying habits. How many times have you searched best dentist near me, best pizza, best accountant, best roofer, best tech, best realtor? You didn't drive around looking, you searched. The business is creating helpful content, answering questions, posting consistently are far more likely to appear, and when they appear, they already look like the expert. One thing I love about YouTube is why it's our whole business, our visibility framework is not just YouTube, but YouTube, since it's owned by Google, and the titles are text and the description is text. If you have built your YouTube channel out and somebody knows your name or your business name and they Google search you hope that your website shows up first, and then your Google My Business shows up first. What's really going to happen if you're building YouTube, all your YouTube videos show up first. They'll outrank your website and you'll outrank your competition. And the best of all the worlds is when your Google listing shows up and then all your videos show up. And then when they go to your YouTube channel, it's like the call to action. Like your QR code's there, your website link's there. People can just sit there and watch your content for hours, learning about you before they hire you, right? Sometimes they don't need that much know, like, and trust. Sometimes they're like, hey, I've seen them around, I've seen their content, I need them now, book now. But other people may want to watch your stuff for a couple of hours, and that's okay. We like watch time. We like YouTube paying us for how much people watch our videos. So the visibility engine isn't really about social media. It's about creating digital assets. Every video, every podcast, every article, it's literally just as a business, you're creating so much knowledge about your particular industry. It's all about just recording it and recording it and indexing it for future generations, right? Because a lot of knowledge, especially in the trades, isn't really captured. It's passed down from one guy to another guy to another guy, or one girl to another girl to another, like in your industry. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
When you mentioned having your name pop up first before your competition on Google,
Yeah, exactly.
is there a way to do that? Like some settings?
There's a bunch of ways to do it.
Instagram there is. So I don't know.
Well, it really depends on how many third-party websites are reporting good backlinks about you. So this is why we created the visibility engine, is that if you stream, let's say you're streaming once a week, but you're streaming to all the different social media platforms, all of them will start reporting, like pretty much they'll be reporting backlinks. So I know with my wife's business, her yoga business, and my business, since we show up on all the social medias, like everything starts reporting back, right? So what I find with a lot of business owners, when I meet them, they're like, oh, well, I love Instagram and TikTok. I don't do anything else. And I'm like, I can tell when I search you, because when I search you, your website might rank, but usually there's like one or two Instagram links that rank, or maybe TikTok. But the problem is, if the person searching for you doesn't have a TikTok account or Instagram, they can't see your stuff. And then if they click on that link, then it goes and makes them set up an account. YouTube doesn't require an account. So we just find that I'm like, hey, if you're going to make content, why don't we just make sure it's repurposed everywhere? So if you're just doing shorts or reels on Instagram, we use some part of the visibility engine is streaming multiple places at the same time. The secondary component is once we have enough content for shorts to synchronize all the social media. So we use repurpose for that. So if you were just using Instagram, we plug repurpose into Instagram and then plug it in. We can automatically have those shorts or reels from Instagram then going to TikTok and LinkedIn and YouTube and the other places. So we just build everything at the same time using the same amount of effort you're already doing. Repurpose is like 20.
Just replicating it.
It's just making sure you get everywhere, so you've got multiple sources reporting back on a Google search or a Chat GPT search or Claude. Like there's so many, like things are becoming so, there's so many different ways to search for you, and how do you chase all those different sources? Just show up everywhere, but using the same amount of time and effort. We've just built a complete framework for doing that. And Jared, do you have a question? Or?
I was going to say, if y'all want to see, you can go to Google and search engraving near me, and then 3 will pop up, and mine is the third one. But if you look at mine, I have like the most 5-star reviews. The other one has like 4 stars, and then the other one has like 2 5-star reviews. And then if you go and search up salt and steel engraving on Google, all you see, the first thing you see is my business account, then you see my website, then you see my Instagram, keep scrolling down, and you see all my Google reviews.
Yeah, so your digital presence.
Yeah, it's really just
Instagram, LinkedIn.
It's nice when it all is working, but most creators I talk to, podcasters, whatever, they're like, well, I don't want to be manually posting. I don't want to schedule this for this. And like, there's ways to automate all this stuff. This is what we're really teaching is most people when they live stream, they get their camera out and they do a live stream and they're like, hey, I just did my live to TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. And I'm like, but you probably have audience that wants to buy from you and they're watching something else. So how about we flip this and just get you live streaming from a computer. You can use fancy cameras or whatever, and you can live stream to multiple places at the same time and do that for a year and then figure out how big your audience is, because I know my audience on Facebook is like over 6,000 people or more. Those are just the friends. I don't know how much is watching. Using the Restream software I'm live streaming on right now, it shows us analytics. So like it brings in the chat, it shows us analytics, we have more data. We've got more information when we're using the Restream software from the computer, and it just allows us to schedule, allows us to record, reschedule. It's a very super powerful software. You can use it for free, or you can have a paid account. There's just more features when you do the paid account. So, anyone have any questions right now? Okay, go ahead.
So kind of for what I do in like the remodel and construction. So one thing that I've really been thinking about when it comes to automation for content and things like that has been either outsourcing like a marketing company that does that all the time.
Okay.
Or the other option, getting some Meta glasses and then just pretty much having it on record all day, and then just going back home and obviously finding the time to break it all down and basically create content that way. And so I guess my question is more so, what would be the most beneficial for me in what I do? Because I'm not really teaching anything. I'm more so just kind of like showing what we do. So I don't know that live streaming would be great for me, versus.
Well, but it's more so. What I would say is this is kind of got a bad connotation that it's just live streaming. A lot of what you can do is just take it and then rebroad. It's like it doesn't have to be live. Like the software that we use that connects us to TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Substack, Rumble, all these places. You can literally just take any of your recordings and just live stream it. So it looks like it's live, but it's not live. It's pre-recorded. It's just a matter of showing up all the time. Because I can go into this software and literally schedule out video to go out every single hour of the day.
Do you think that content that's pre-recorded that's going to be live streaming should be chopped up to or?
It really it's all about storytelling, right? So it's like, what do you want the story of your brand to be? Like, what do you want to showcase? When people think of your brand or your service, like what do they want you to see? What do you want them to see? Like I've spoken to, I know when I was in Nashville, I met somebody he's like, I have a car wash in the detailing business. We just live stream security cameras 24/7. And he's like, our Google ad, like we have so many people just watching cars get detailed. And guess what? There could be hundreds of people per hour watching. So Google AdSense, so he's monetized on YouTube. Google's paying him 6 figures a month just for that video feed. Because people are watching other people detail cars.
No cuts or anything?
No cuts. It's live right from the camera. It's their security cameras. So he's like, I make more money from my YouTube live stream than I actually make from the car wash.
One thing I would say too, on what Michael was asking, is because when you're first and this was me like 2 months ago when I first met Mike and I was first like learning all this stuff. When you're first getting into like creating content and stuff, you're like, oh, what should I post? What should my story be? Don't get hung up on that. Just start like recording and posting stuff and start using like the framework, and then you can develop your ideas like as you go. Like I'm still trying to develop exactly what I want my like story necessarily to be, but just getting stuff out there for people to see, it builds that trust and that relationship, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Like just get
it's really more so just about people discovering you, because unless you physically meet them or like just chopping down that know, like, and trust. If people meet you in person, you kind of have to see what they have, normally for them to get to that like and trust of you, they've got to like talk to you, hear your stories about like the one-on-one stories about your jobs that have gotten great, gotten bad, before and after stuff, and you can do it. And it's that whole concept of like one-to-many, right? So one-to-one's great, but how do you grow your business? How do you grow your sphere of influence between the one-to-one in-person networking? In-person networking is great. However, if you can, get in front, like the videos you put on the internet don't need to be fancy. They don't need to have a whole bunch of cuts and blah, blah, blah. It just needs to be you as the business owner saying, hey, this is the job we did for this one person. Like there's a lot of mechanics on the internet where they're not even doing, showing you them working on a car. They're like, hey, I got this great story about Subaru, right? This terrible story about a Mini Cooper or whatever. And they're just, you get engaged just by watching them talk about this, great, like each profession out there has great stories to share. Who are you sharing those stories with? Usually you're sharing them with your good drinking buddy or your wife or your husband or your kids, right? So just get in front of the camera and just tell the stories. It's like, hey, this is the most common issue, and this is the why we built the I Am YouTube Famous. This is why we got free classes on Saturday morning, and then we have paid students during the week. Jared's one of our paid students, and we were just like meet with them. Or like, what stories can you tell? Because we don't want the stories about your industry to die, right? Because there's going to be people are going to learn from you about the experiences that you've had, the great products, solutions that you've given your clients, and the only way you've been able to give them such great service is because you've got the experience, right? You've seen the 100 ways to do something wrong and say, only do it this way because you're going to waste time and money and just bad stuff happens when you do it the cheap, short way, right? So it doesn't always have to. There's a ton of stuff out on YouTube and all these other social medias that's highly edited. That's great when you have the resources to have a camera crew and editor and all that stuff. They don't need any of that stuff to get started. Like most people can become, very well known. These are great. I just find that a lot of people have issues with tripods being stable, with their microphones and audio and video quality on the phone. It's a great tool to start with. My wife was doing live streams for years with the phone, and I'm like, but you know what? With the broadcast, with the framework I came up with over the last couple of years, and using the computer, you can preload images up on. This was because I was trying to live stream and do a presentation. But typically what we would do is if we didn't have the in-person audience, all these images would have been loaded into the broadcast software, and I would have just clicked on image one, had image one up with my face, talked about it, went to image two, which is literally what I'm going to do with this presentation now, since I had a little bit of issues with this. But there's a lot of cool stuff we can do with the broadcast software. Jared's been doing amazing things with it, but it's just a matter of getting started. And if you've got ideas, are you currently making any content?
I'm sorry, I had a question in my head. What did you say? I'm sorry.
That's okay. I don't know if I had a question. No, I'm just like you were. I'm like, I think it's just a matter of getting in front of the camera. What I like with the broadcast software we use, I can just go into the studio. I don't have to live stream. I can just sit there and hit record and just test it and do it. It'd be like the same at what we used to do before presentations was stand in front of the mirror. If you've ever been to a networking meeting like BNI or whatever, it's practicing your 60-second elevator pitch, right? What do? Stand in front of the mirror and try to say what you do in 40 seconds or whatever. Yeah. That's what I do in front of the broadcast, in front of my laptop. I'm like, hey, I want to put out this ad, I want to put out this webinar, and I just sit there and practice. And I'd be like, okay, I want to start with this image, I want to put this call to action up, I want to put up this QR code, and I just practice pitch and delivery and my lines and all that stuff. And I'd be like, hey, this is great. I can now go throw this up on all the social, one click to upload the bit to schedule it out at a certain time, and then I just let things run, and then people call me people go to the website and book, or they call me to say, hey, you've been talking about this restream, you've been talking about YouTube for like years, how do I get started? I was like, let's just jump on a Zoom call and figure out what your schedule looks like, and when can you take where in your week can you take time from like doom scrolling or wasting time or whatever and sit in front, come up with story ideas, your script. Like some people don't need a script. Some people are just natural storytellers. They can just get in front of the camera and talk.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. Me, not so much. I drive my wife crazy. My wife can jump in front of the camera and talk, and me, I'm like, I need words. Because I just look like this white guy who doesn't know what he's talking about, right? But if I'm fixing your computer, I can talk to I can talk to you about what's wrong with your computer for like 3 hours.
Right.
I got no problem with that. But when I'm in front of the camera and the lights on, like, and all my training in Hollywood, it came to the script. It was like, hey, we're gonna put you in this sitcom about a dad who fixes computers. And I'm like, okay. So they're like, well, you know how to make it look natural, but read our unnatural scripts. And that's what I did for hours on a sound stage, is just read somebody else's words and pretended to not be awkward, right? And this is YouTube, and going live is so much easier because I'm like, hey, I've got, look in front of the camera and just tell your stories, and just don't be scared to put that stuff out, because you already have people who know, like, and trust you. You already have family that loves you. You already have, well, Jared's brand new in business. How about the rest of you? Like, have you been in business for a couple of years, or brand new?
A year or so, last April.
Okay.
So over a year.
So right now, where's your clients coming from?
A lot of referrals.
Okay.
And then Facebook.
Okay.
No ads, just kind of
No.
organically.
Well, see, this is the challenge, is all the marketing companies out there are going to tell you to do ads, and ads aren't a problem. Ads are great, but generally, in order to run ads, they want video content.
Yeah.
And then you're under the gun to make video content. But I'm like, if you've already been practicing and putting yourself out there, you should already have long content or shorts that you can just repurpose. The editor at the marketing company might say, hey, we want to do this book and that. Like, you should already have enough content out there where you can just easily adapt that into an ad. But that's where most people say, I had that same experience. I had a company when right before 2019 is when I started running ads. I realized Google search results weren't working for us in 2019 anymore. And I'm like, how do I get more business? And then we started running ads, and we had no video content out there. So it was rough. The ads brought customers in, but then it was kind of like short-lived. And I wasn't doing the YouTube back in 2019, 2020. I only started doing the YouTube after I started working with this entertainment company. It was like, you should make your own show about technology or do it yourself up or something. And it's like, no, I don't need to make video content. No, I don't need to make video content. And it's like the number one way we get referrals now is video content. I can do a live stream on Saturday talking about YouTube, how you started with YouTube, how to fix your YouTube, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll have customers calling me and be like, hey, I don't need help with YouTube, but I just watched you for an hour on Facebook. And I need computer help, because you still do computer help. And I'm like, of course I do computer help, right? So now the number one way leads come in, not from my email newsletter, not from me calling and following up with people or any of that direct response, cold outreach, warm outreach, whatever. Is literally people are calling because they're like, hey, I just watched you live stream. Can you help me with this? And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. Right? So and in 2020 would have said, I don't need video content out there. I could just do ads or Google ads or whatever. But the video content really helps shorten that know, like, and trust.
I was going to point out one of the things that's coming up as well is not having perfect content is the trend now, because of everybody pushing so much AI, that there's actually kind of a revolt that people want to know that's real people, that want to see people that have problems, they want to see that you're authentic, right? So
they want to see you screw up. Hey, you're not perfect. I don't know. It's just
you're not AI, right? So if you're hesitant about it, that should almost give you more, like, give you a little boost of it, that it doesn't need to be perfect, because people are going to appreciate it more now.
That's definitely motivation. I appreciate that.
So like you mentioned on the live stream the Substack thing. So I went and I was just like, okay, I was basically talking shit about pressure treated lumber and why it's trash right now. And so I did like it was like 22 seconds, whatever. And so I threw it out there on Substack and automatically uploaded it to my YouTube.
Yeah.
I had completely forgotten that I had linked the YouTube with the
All right.
I logged in the other day, I had 1,000 views on that 1/22 of me talking mess about pressure treated lumber and basically people painting wet lumber and having issues later on down the road. And I was like, whoa, hold on. 1,000 views?
Well,
I didn't even know.
one of our students, she's like, Mike, I got 500 views on the shorts. She's like, I don't even know where this short came from.
Yeah,
It was such
yeah.
right? Because I'm just like, well, let's make some content and let's just put it in. You can live stream to Substack from Restream. So I'm like, let's just, where I come in, I help you with making sure you're making the content. I follow up with you daily. I'll text you to make sure you're making content. Straighten out any of the technical workflows because sometimes things just don't work and you're like, why is it not working? I'm like, okay, let's go through and make sure we have this production list so that way you know your computer's been rebooted, you're like everything's ready to go for your live stream because then we can fix it, we can straighten out distribution issues or whatever later. Most of our students just forget, well, I got this. And I'm like, well, it's because we set this up months ago and you forgot about it. I just want you to be focused on going live once a week, minimum once a week, go live. Once you're comfortable with it, then we're going to show you a way to do shorts and then how to make sure the shorts are automatic. Like all you should really have to do is make shorts, put them in one place, and from that one place, it should be automatically sent to your results. Because in a month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, if your social medias are set up properly and the algorithm's pushing your stuff, people are going to reach out to say, hey, I really appreciated that take on that, or you describing this workflow, or I really like the house that you were trying to sell. Is it still available, or whatever the case may be? A lot of times, since I do tech support, a lot of the time my comments, you did it wrong. There's a quicker way, and I'm like, thank you for telling me there's a quicker way. Send me the link, right? Because my experience with technology support is what I learned in university and what I've learned on site with customers. It may not be the quickest way. It may not be the best way, but my customer's happy and they paid me, so I'm documenting the solution I came up with, right? You're going to have experience with lumber because there's always, since we spend so much time in our heads and developing our, baking, you may know certain things, certain procedures in baking that other people, you told me when you first came in, it's hard to delegate the baking up because if people don't do it right, it's not going to end up it's not going to look or taste right? So, and there may be certain things like I know when I was working at when I was doing stuff for the entertainment company that got me started with video. We had did Miss Shirley do baking or cooking or everything? She was in the kitchen. She was always making stuff, right? And she's like, and she brought her granddaughter. So I was like, hey, I'm trying to pass these recipes down, but you got to do certain things in a certain, because she was in the South and heat and a bunch of other stuff. She's like, there's a certain way I do everything, just to make sure that the final result is what the family expects, right? Because they're going to think something's funny if it doesn't look, smell, or taste right, because you rush something, right? So it's all about documenting what you do so that and distributing it everywhere. Visibility engine is really about making sure you make content and we show you the most efficient way to get it everywhere without having to spend a lot of time doing it, right? Because I don't want you to get burnt out thinking about content. I don't want you to get burnt out planning video ideas, planning distribution. I want you to be able to just make content, have it show up everywhere, and then reap the rewards of that. Of a shortened trust cycle with a customer. So Jared's gone through my training and he's done really well with it. So did you want to get up and talk about your experience or give me any great review?
Yeah, it's been.
My phone's dead. I think it's after 7 already. So
Yeah, it's 7:20. We can go ahead and end these, but yeah, it's been amazing. The hardest, the part that's the hardest for everyone is starting. It's what do I post about? And the simplest thing that I could say for you guys is just talk about what you did the week. Just recap the week. Like for you, it's like talk about the lawns you cut, the houses you remodeled, the pressure treated lumber, the cookies you made for the social media event, the clients that you met with that maybe they bought a house or it didn't work out or they got pre-approved and then they never showed up and ghosted you. You know, all the different things. So just recap your week. Start there and then ask ChatGPT or Claude or AI for ideas, you know. And, you know, Mike has all kinds of cool ideas and stuff too. And it just gets started.
I think that's my favorite part is like, just like, because I know you as a business owner, like you just kind of like, it's the creativity might get stuck. That's what I found.
Absolutely.
That's what I find. It's like, hey, let's just come like, when I first got started with the entertainment company, I started me to come up with 100 ideas. Doesn't mean any of your first shows are going to be those 100 ideas, but only you know of course your competitors know your industry, but only you really know what you've been doing for, what you're planning to do for customers or what your experience is, and just start talking about it, right? Because.
But to me, I feel the most challenging part is being on camera and actually
In front of the
talking
camera.
to it,
Yeah.
feeling comfortable and
That's what I
just,
was,
you know, like the exposure.
that's what I was thinking, like, on his question is like, should I go put, like, be live stream, but at the same time, you gotta think you're looking at a business card compared to your face talking about the business. So that's what I've been thinking about.
That's why my face is on all my business cards. I learned that from my realtor. Is like always put your face on your business card. Because you can change company name, you can change address, your phone number can change, but people are gonna look for my bald head.
That lady that I was talking about earlier that I met at the golf tournament that saw me on like Facebook and stuff, she recognized me because of my mustache.
That's why
She was like, that mustache sticks out.
we
anywhere."
twin this week. I shaved. I'm like, I'll rock the Jared mustache for the week, right? So.
I was hoping you shared.
Man, totally different person if that happens.
They wouldn't even recognize you at that point. So.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming. We can wrap up.
Julie, do you have any tips for the getting over the on-camera appearance?
Well, it's just practice. It's like the more you show up and the more you keep doing it and the more you even keep when you don't like it and you get used to it, it's gonna help you, right? So like you might be looking for a specific like look away or like you're gonna say it perfect. But keeping it authentic and getting over when you're not perfect is really, once you get over it, it's easy to make content. Once you get over your own insecurities, it is really easy to then make content. But that will be the biggest thing, is just doing it. And the only way to get better at it and more comfortable is doing it. And I don't think there's any shortcut. You just gotta keep showing up, and watching your own content is also the key. Because if you don't go back and watch it, you can't improve it either, right? So you will be probably your own harshest critic, because we will always be our worst, critic.
Well, my wife tells me, she's like, you sound fake. You got a fake voice. My wife's like, well, we do 4 live, we do four shows a week together. And it's like, thank you. Myself.
But I'm also telling myself, like, I don't like the way I laid it out, so this next week, I'm still mastering how I want my shows laid out on some of the shows. So I'm still not really happy after doing it and going, oh, maybe I need to move this part to that. And that is the one great thing, is when you start making content and you start liking what you're making, it gets easier and easier to improve and try new things. You get more confident and comfortable doing those too.
Absolutely. When I first started, I was like nervous as heck. I was like, what am I going to say? Like I'm sitting there talking to all these people.
I remember when you did live streams because your wife was in there. Are you sure you're doing that? Is the camera angle? Are you supposed to be doing this? Well, the only way you get over that is by doing it.
And it happens quick. You just do it so much, and then it just becomes second nature. Like I never thought I would get to the point where I could even stand up here and just talk to you guys. But just the more you do it, I mean, it'll happen. If you're doing it like daily or weekly, it'll happen within like a month. If you're doing it daily, it'll happen in like a week. It'll become second nature. So.
Especially the success that comes behind it.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Once you get people calling you that like you've never met in person, that's when it gets cool. Like I get people that'll call me. I'm like, hey, where'd you find me? Like, oh, I Googled you, and you had the best reviews, or I saw you on like a Facebook post or something, and it's like, oh, okay, then it's working, and like that'll come pretty quick too. Like after about a month or two of doing it, people started saying that. I was like, okay, it's actually working. Like, it takes a little bit of time, but you know.
And I think that's really the important thing, like the visibility engine, the framework I built. I'm like, I see so many people just doing Facebook or just doing Instagram or just doing TikTok. I'm like, please bring that over to, I can show you a much easier way to get it distributed everywhere with the same amount of effort you're already putting in, just because there's so much audience out there that you're not tapping into because you're only I know you're comfortable with the TikTok or the Instagram or whatever, I can get it, but we can do the same streaming. All we need to do is get that video on the computer and stream it everywhere. So it's actually probably easier than the way you're already doing it.
Well, and
But if you don't,
if you're a business owner, work smarter, not harder, right? So if you're already making content,
Absolutely.
you might as well have that content show up on every platform versus having
Exactly.
Well, and like with the video stuff, like I refuse to, like, I did not want my face out there, and I want people, like, I thought when I first started my business, you know, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, I didn't want anybody to really know me. I wanted people to look at my work product. So I thought, okay, well, if I build it, they'll come. That was one of the dumbest things ever, because basically when I was told, like, meeting with a lot of business owners, is I got told, nobody gives a shit about what you build. They care about you and what problems you solve for them. And they're buying you and what you can do. They can go to IKEA and buy furniture. What's the difference? What are you doing that's different from everything else? And if you show people who you are, it builds trust. I mean, that was one of the things I wrote down. It's like, I don't have a sales problem, I have a visibility problem, because I'm not producing enough content out there with me explaining what it is I do and how I do it. And in the world of AI, it's just like everybody, I mean, there's so much just trash out there of like unlimited amount of trash and fake businesses and stuff like that. I mean, I've got a whole story with my round and round Google for 3 weeks, just to get my business page back because of the AI stuff that's going on right now. So it's like, there's like showing up, being authentic, and making those videos. Something up, I got a video coming out tomorrow where it's basically I lost my key. And it's like, you know, like just doing it, just start, just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be pretty. It's just you being you, and that will actually attract the most people.
Absolutely. Mike probably wanted to kick me for like the first 2 weeks because I was like hesitating because I didn't have any ideas. I didn't have it all planned out. And then
the most important thing is you didn't quit.
Exactly.
I can't say that with our other students. A lot of people have a lot of excuses, and we want to get rid of. The whole reason I came up with this visibility framework was because I want to get rid of your excuses. We're going to go through, like, I'll sit down and be like, where in your schedule are you wasting time? Because if you're not as busy as you want to be, it's because not enough people know who you are. So are you watching other people's content rather than making your own? I bet you're watching other people's content.
Watching other people's content can be good for research, because if you're watching other people and what they're doing, it can give you really great ideas. But you want to be watching it in the idea that you are doing it as a learning and as education, not just literally when we call our daughters doing the brain, when your brain rot, you're just sitting there, you're not even looking at it, you're just literally numb.
doom scroll.
Being conscious when you're watching watching the videos, so that you can mimic or take ideas from other people, right? What are they doing? Can you do it?
That's why I watch Jared stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't a 3-minute video, it's 20 seconds long because it's looping.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know looping was a thing until I saw him do it. And then I saw all these other people describing what looping
I was
is.
like, Jared, God,
Jared's ahead of the curve. I'm so happy we got him started because I can learn from everyone else out there making content, because I am not perfect. People say, hey, why do you talk funny? Why do you look funny? Why do you not have a Texas accent? I'm like, because I don't. I'm not from Texas. I don't have a Texas accent. You know, I may talk funny, I may look funny, whatever. I'm still making content, and I've had my business for 21 years. I help people fix stuff, or I say, don't waste any more time and money on this computer. Like, do you really need a computer? Like, it's just, there's always going to be a solution out there for people. You just have to help them. That's what my customers are looking for. They're looking for a solution. You might stop them from making a huge mistake and say, you don't need to do this, look at this.
Yeah.
Right. I know you want to support me and my business, and that's great. But just People call and like, you don't need to do any of this stuff. You don't need that expensive. People call with expensive websites that don't work, and I'm like, the website's not gonna. The website can help convert people into a customer if they can discover you, but there's a lot of people spending a lot of money on ads, a lot of money on websites, and I'm like, they don't have the content. You got to start with the content first. You got to be comfortable with the content and be comfortable putting their content everywhere, right? Because I'll just see there's someone local and she's like, I don't agree with you, and I was like, hey, I think you're wrong about that. And then I've been seeing more video content coming on LinkedIn. It's like, you can put that everywhere with the same amount of effort, with the same amount of time. So now you're coming around a little bit and putting it in one place, but realistically, you can just live stream it everywhere and then measure the results in a year. So I'm sure if you like LinkedIn, I'm sure that Rumble, I'm sure your ideal customers are in other places. And like, I'm not going on LinkedIn to look at stuff, but I got a professional account, my business is there, and I gotta, keep up the appearance, right? I need to put stuff there because like I get way more. I realized after live streaming for the last 6 months to LinkedIn, it's like 200 views every single time. Just more and more people, more connections. I've got connections in Austin, Texas that came from LinkedIn. Because I thought, hey, I'll follow them on Instagram, I'll follow them on Facebook. And then I realized, hey, they'll give me their phone number because they saw my video on LinkedIn. Who would have known? So, anyway.
Yeah.
Any questions? You're good. I got my business cards. I got my book. I've got a coffee cup. There's food there. There's cookies there. Enjoy yourselves.
Thank you everybody for coming too.
And thank you. I'll just say bye.
Drinks and whatever y'all want, we'll put that. You better get the cookies y'all want, 'cause that box is coming home. Those cookies are really good.